what text are you enhancing? You know, you've got to be deliberate. If you're going to have meaning in your life, if the people around you are going to have meaning, you've got to be deliberate about the text that you choose or the text that you write for your symphony. Just about this time a year ago, I was on one of those layovers up in Honolulu we were talking about before. And I was walking along the beach, as I like to do, you know, on my layover, just before sunset, Honolulu. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. And I noticed there was a lady walking along beside me. And every few minutes, she'd bend over, pick something up off the beach, and put it in a piece of palm bark she had in her other hand. Thought that was kind of curious. Watched her a few more minutes, she'd bend over, pick something up, put it in palm bark. After a few minutes of that, my curiosity got the better of me. I stopped her. I'm sorry, but I just got to ask, what are you picking up there? She said, I'm picking up gold. Oh, you have crazy people in Honolulu too. Well, I didn't have anything else to do, so I walked along with her a little bit further, and you know, we struck up a conversation. After a few minutes, she said, you know, Mark, I've got a confession to make. Not really picking up gold. I didn't really think you were. What are you picking up over there? She said, I'm picking up diamonds. Crazier than I thought. Well, we went on down the beach. She was being tongue-in-cheek. She was picking up shards of sea glass, green, brown, and white, that she collects and takes home. And she's got these canisters in her house, all over her house now. They're probably this high, made out of glass, this big around, and she fills them with this sea glass. They become works of art. They're beautiful pieces of furniture that she has around her house. That's what she was actually collecting. But so we went on down the beach, and I learned a little bit more about her. This woman had established a high-end swimwear business some years before that was now generating over $1 million a year in revenue. Yeah, and it had franchises as far away as Tokyo. Not crazy. Next thing I knew, she was inviting me to walk up the cliff with her down the road to meet her husband, and we've become great friends. And so now when I'm on layovers in Honolulu, I make it a point to grab a bottle of wine and go up to Gordon and Iwalani's house. We have dinner, and then we sit there and drink wine into the night and set the world to rights. Well, Iwalani's obviously a successful businesswoman. Her husband, Gordon, is a business and life coach. He's in the personal development space, as am I as an author and speaker. So we sit there and we talk about concepts like success in life. And you know, we've lamented over time how frequently we run into people who really have no idea what it would mean to be successful in their lives because they haven't sat down and defined it. They haven't figured out what they want their lives to mean, what they want the symphony of their life to sound like, or their masterpiece to look like. And so we've asked ourselves, how do you fix that? Well, it turns out that Iwalani was, in fact, picking up gold. This is when she does some of her meditation. And so we've come up with 6 ideas I think of as almost as gold nuggets, concepts, that and they're in the form of questions. If people would answer these 6 questions, they would be able to define for themselves what they want their lives to look like right now. What they want their symphony for this phase of life to sound like. And we're going to go over those. In fact, I meant to pass these out. Judy, would you give me a hand, please?
I can give you a hand also.
Great.
If you'd like.
Thanks. Make sure everybody gets one of those. These are 6 questions that will help you define what you want your symphony to look like right now. Now, we have to make an assumption as they're passing out these sheets. If we're not going to be successful, what's the point? So we're going to assume that we cannot fail. So we're going to ask ourselves these questions. In a world in which I cannot fail, question number 1, what do I want to do? Well, this is your bucket list, isn't it? You want to maybe take a stroll down the Great Wall of China? You want to stand underneath the Eiffel Tower in Paris, take a look at that thing at night? You want to maybe drink something exotic out of a pineapple in the Hawaiian Islands? What do you want to do? What would be just the coolest thing in the world to do before you're done? In a world in which I cannot fail, question number 2, what do I want to be? Well, this is your legacy. This is how you want to be remembered. This is what you want to create in this phase of life, retired, still working, in between. How do you want to be remembered? You know, I have 4 kids. I would love to be remembered as the best father any 4 kids could ever hope to have. I was giving this talk a few weeks ago at a networking event. And one of the guys stopped me and says, "Mark, 84 kids?" "What do you mean 84 kids?" He says, well, you just said you wanted to be remembered as the best father 84 kids could ever hope to have." I said, no, I have 4 kids. Any 4 kids. He said, well, you did say your bike crash was in Utah. He was a mentor for the young singers of the Colorado Children's Chorale. He was an author. He was a speaker. How do you want to be remembered? Question number 3. What do I want to have? Well, this question can get just a little bit ticklish, a little bit sticky sometimes. Because, you know, for our peer group, we all know what a reasonable car to drive would look like without being ostentatious. We all know what a reasonable house to live in would look like without being unseemly. But, you know, we can be kind of intimidated sometimes when we start to visualize and dream and think about how much wealth it's really okay to have, you know, without being out of place for our peer group. There was a movie a couple of years ago, several years ago now, starred Michael Douglas. He was some kind of a wheeler dealer in New York, all about putting companies together and whatnot. What was that movie? Help me out here.
Was that Wall Street?
Wall Street, yes, thank you. And what was his character's name? Do you remember?
Gordon Gekko?
Gekko, that's right, Gordon Gekko. And Gordon Gekko had this signature phrase. You got it, come on.
Greed is good.
Greed is good, that's right. Well, we don't want to be thought of as greedy, as Gordon Gekko characters, do we? We don't want to be thought of as people who are about accumulating wealth and stuff just for having stuff. But that question takes on a different flavor when we pair it with question number 4. In a world in which I cannot fail, what do I want to give? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that it's hard to give if you don't have. You know, as I say, I go up and down the Front Range and I speak to service groups, Optimists, Sertoma, Lions, Rotary. And I've learned that they spend a lot of their time accumulating wealth. Fundraising is how they call it. But accumulating material wherewithal. Why? So they can turn right around and plow it right back into the communities that are important to them. Optimists alone last year spent $20 million on the youth of our communities. How cool would it be if we as individuals could have that kind of impact on the ideas that are important to us? I spoke about Gordon and Iwalani a minute ago. They, as successful business people, their goal is to eliminate academic ignorance around the world. They are going to take some of their personal wealth and plant schools in third world countries all over the world. How cool if we could have that kind of impact as individuals. What do I want to have? What do I want to give? Question number 5. How do I want to spend my time? Well, how much time do you have?
24 hours.
Every day. How many days do we have left? May 17th, 2012. I was 53 years old. The actuaries would have told me that I was going to live into my 80s. I had more than 30 years left to finish that book, to paint my masterpiece, to compose the symphony of my life. On May 18th, lying there, Utah desert, broken neck, my symphony lying beside me, unfinished. My time is up. Why do you do what you do? Maybe more to the point, why are you doing today what you're doing today? Question number 6. With whom do I want to spend my time? Judy always gets nervous at the point of speech. See, this is where I tell a joke to the CEOs. You've already laughed, so you don't have to laugh at this if you don't think it's funny. I've learned that 95% of a person's happiness in this life comes from being married to the right person. I'm setting it up. Here comes the punchline. We've also learned that 95% of a person's misery in life comes from being married to the wrong person. I got a little chuckle, thanks to you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, that idea aside, the point of the question is to remind us that we should gather to ourselves, surround ourselves with people who will enhance our lives, who will encourage us, who will help us to be the happiest, most successful, most productive human beings we can be. At the same time, we can release from our lives those individuals, those toxic personalities. You know who they are. The ones that attach themselves to you and suck away your life force and don't bring anything to the game. You don't have to keep them around. With whom do I want to spend my time? 6 questions that will help you define your success for this stage of life. 6 questions that will help you define what you want your symphony to look like and sound like. Time for another question. What text are you using for your symphony? Are you writing a text of inspiration, encouragement, perseverance, determination? Are you writing about joy in life? Or are you using a text about something else?